all, and welcome to Rave and Review, where we rave and review about any and all things pop culture. My name is Bre, and you can follow me at BreNavette26 on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Kaya, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at kaya.r.pennington.
And you can follow Rave and Review on Instagram and Twitter at rave_in_review. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that, rave_in_review. Follow us, please. And before we get into it, please remember to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and most importantly,
share.
And so before we get into our first segment, I wasn't here last episode and we were kind of missing for a week. I just want to apologize that, your girl's been busy. We both busy all the time, but sometimes we
schedules don't mix together sometimes.
It just be like that. You know what? That's okay, because guess who held it down for Kaya? She held it down. A round of applause. Kaya did that. And I also I missed the chance to review Beyonce's new album, Renaissance. And so we just need to talk about that. I have something to talk to you about, Kaya. You had the audacity to say that you liked a couple of songs from the album. Let's be clear. There's not a skip on this album.
What I said was there are some songs that I liked more. Who said I skipped? I never said I skipped.
You implied. You skipped a couple songs.
You assumed.
You implied. Okay, Renaissance is a work of art. Okay, she gave the gays a nod. The black gay people in ballroom. Some of y'all, a lot of this went over y'all heads. Okay, a lot of y'all don't know what she be talking about on this album because y'all don't participate in black gay culture. Y'all need to, you know what? I'm gatekeeping. I'm not gonna tell y'all about it, but this album go over a lot of people's heads. Okay. It's not for a lot of y'all, but guess what? It was for me. Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you so much. Anyways, let's get into our first segment. It's a new segment called Unpopular Opinions. It's basically where we rave and review our unpopular opinions, our problematic opinions that will probably get us canceled, dragged.
It's not problematic. It might go over some people's heads, but it's not problematic always.
I suppose if you're delusional, it's problematic, You gotta be a little delusional sometimes. Anyways, Kaya, today we're gonna be talking about projecting queerness onto non-queer characters. What do you think about this? Do you be doing it?
No. So first off, I'm gonna be reading from my notes. You will see me looking down because I have a lot to say, so I'm trying to stay on track. So with this, without sounding ignorant, drives me up the wall. Now, shipping is all subjective and it's based on one's perspective. So I can only speak from mine. And half the fandoms that I'm in that do this, the incidents in question don't even be romantic to me. Like Arthur and Merlin from Merlin. Half the time, now Merlin is Arthur's servant, so half the time Arthur is abusive towards Merlin. He throws things at him, he yells at him, and even as their characters develop, I still sometimes have a hard time seeing them as friends. Bucky and Sam, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the soul-gazing exercise. Now, I'm going to take a brief detour. There are some people who genuinely just don't like shipping, like no matter who the ship is in question. And so there are some people who say, especially when it's a man and a woman, because a lot of shows do that where the main two characters typically be a man and a woman and they'll get together. So a lot of people say, why can't men and women be friends without it going to the romantic stage? Why can't it just be platonic? And so sometimes I think that applies to LGBTQ plus ships. Why can't two people of the same sex do something together or go to therapy or something like that and it just be that? They just be friends. The scene where Sam saves Bucky's life after the truck fight and Bucky lands on top of Sam after they have a tumble. How was that romantic? How was that? I don't understand. Steve and Bucky from the MCU. Now, I'm not well versed on the comic universe like that just yet, but even some people that I know who are well versed in the comics will say that Steve and Bucky are like father, son, or brother and brother. In the movie universe, I see them nothing more as like friends or even a brother and brother. Dean and Cass, Supernatural. Now, I'll have been all clocked out around season 9. But even then, there was nothing romantic there. So please do let me know where that is. Like, I understand that representation is important and we don't get enough LGBTQ plus or M on N, or man on man. Sorry. But taking a little clip and then projecting what you want doesn't seem helpful either, because when it falls through, all of a sudden it's queer baiting. And I'm not saying these shows or others haven't or don't queer bait, but again, you can't take what you want, a tiny clip, and then project what you want and then get upset when it doesn't happen. And it's almost like a paradox, right? Because on the other end of this, you have people, when the characters are already out and openly gay, but the actors are straight, then you have people saying, well, these actors need to be openly gay so as to not take away roles from gay actors, which I completely understand that argument. I agree that gay actors should be the first picks for gay roles. But then on that other end, you have these characters are gay. No, they're not. Well, you're just queer baiting. Like, the whole thing is frustrating to me. Like, I'm all for shipping. You say you're not, but I am. I am all for shipping if the characters and the actors have that kind of chemistry. Abby and Crane, Sleepy Hollow, we'll get to that in a minute. But like, the characters seem to have that kind of chemistry and the actors genuinely seem to have that kind of chemistry. I am all for shipping. I even have a whole video on it on my personal YouTube channel, The World of Shipping. Definitely feel free to check it out. But most of the time, to me, as again, this is subjective, I don't see it. Sam and Bucky, they hated each other at first. If you saw them as anything more than friends at the end of that series, you played yourself. And we all know Bucky finna get with Sarah, Sam's sister, so stop playing. Stop playing.
Bucky, he like, you know.
he spent a lot of time in Wakanda. Look. And then Merlin and Arthur, again, not to spoil anything for you, but I genuinely don't think people ship them together not because they have good chemistry like that. I'm sure there are some people who genuinely do, but for the majority in that fandom, I think people ship Arthur and Merlin not because they have that chemistry, but because Gwen is black and they don't like that. And then there's the pressure that this puts on the actors or the real life people. Like, they don't want to give away something that the production might not want them to give away, or maybe they just don't know. And at the same time, they don't want to give the LGBTQ plus false hope, because then that is queer baiting. Accidental, but it still applies. Or they don't want to offend the LGBTQ plus community. But if they give a genuine no, and then people are like, oh, why are you saying no? Are you intimidated by the fact that somebody might think it's gay? No, I said no because that's not what I was trying to do. Point blank, period. Exactly. Like, I'm gonna stop there because, again, I have a whole video about it on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out to get my full thoughts. But that's just me. How about you? What do you feel about it, Bre?
I'm not a fan of shipping personally. And, like, I'm not a fan of shipping because I feel like I typically, honestly, mostly find myself going with whoever the writer is writing to be together. Don't know why. Maybe, like, I'm just, have a strong intuition of when two people are supposed to be together. Unlike others, I think a lot of these folks are just extremely delusional, and they don't know the difference between a platonic and romantic relationship. They don't know what romance is like. So they see Bucky and Sam doing regular friend stuff, like going to therapy together, and what is it? Sun gazing, stare gazing,
soul gazing. But it's like they were forced. Even still, they were forced into that, and they turned it into a childish staring contest. Where is the romance?
It don't be there. They just be friends. It's just like, ooh, they're being nice to each other. You think they kind of? No, they're being friends. They're just being nice together. Get a grip. Like, a lot of these people just are they need to, like, touch grass a little bit. Like, go outside, touch a little grass. You know what I'm saying? Go talk to your friends. Like, because I think they just can't grasp. They just don't know. Can't tell the difference in real life, and so that applies to what they see on television and movies. And so this whole shipping non-queer characters together happens a lot in anime, and I watch a lot of anime. I love Jujutsu Kaisen, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Tokyo Ghoul. That's my stuff, okay? But there's a reason why people call anime watchers weird, okay? It's because we can't control those ones. The ones, okay, that be shipping characters together, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. And the reason why it makes me uncomfortable is because 9 out of 10, the characters are not of age. They be drawing these crazy pictures. I'm just like, hold on. Now, these are kids, right? Like, calm down. Calm down. They'd be like, well, it's just a fictional character. I don't care if it was a drawing of 2 baby bears. I don't want to see that. Okay, nobody wants to see that. All right, get it together. I don't care. And then it's just it. I also don't like it because it kind of enforces the whole predatory gay person stereotype. And I know that doesn't make sense probably, but that's just what it is. That's what I see when I see people doing that, because it's like, oh, this person isn't gay, but they can be gay, right? Like, I can make them gay if I want them to. Like, they did the same thing to Harry Styles or Louis Tomlinson, made them not want to be friends with each other no more. They did it to all kinds of bandmates. He did it to Fifth Harmony, for Christ's sake.
Which I think one of those girls will go on record and be like, they publicly outed me. That led to me being outed. I think. I could be wrong. And it's just like, this is the toll that you're taking on these people, because it's really uncomfortable. Like, oh, is it uncomfortable because you don't... No, it's uncomfortable because you're putting that pressure on us, and we're not that. We don't even want to be around each other no more, because every time we around each other, y'all got something to say.
People, like, they see these weird fan fictions y'all be writing on Wattpad, okay? You are seen, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. You are seen
in
as
a stay 10 feet away from me kind of way.
Psychopathic weirdo. And if Harry Styles saw you, if they would be like, restraining order. Here, this person, now. They don't like you. You're not liked. Hate to say it to you, but people don't like you. You're annoying. I'm sorry. Okay, and I understand that we don't get a lot of representation in media, period. Whether it's music, movies, television, we don't see that a lot, and that's not our fault. But also, please don't enforce your weird delusion onto us, please. We don't like it.
To be clear, we are not saying agenda. We are strictly saying just keep your ships to, just like how people wouldn't want. There are some people who think Abby and Crane are just friends, and they don't want people pushing a romantic relationship onto them. So that's their opinion. So keep your opinions in check, is what we're saying.
Yes, that's what I mean. And it's still delusion sometimes. Like, these two are not going to be together. Why are you on a sinking ship? And I just want to also make it, one day we need to talk about this made up gay agenda. Like, what is this agenda?
Definitely.
I never received one, so I don't know what's happening.
And we used to get agendas all the time in middle school,
elementary school. I haven't gotten this agenda, so please, I need to talk about it because I don't have it. But anyways, it makes a story hard to participate, and it's harder to have fun when you have, people in the fan base acting like psychopaths. And I'm not homophobic. I'm not. I'm with y'all, okay? But please stop with these. It just makes it weird for the actors. It makes it weird for people who are making music. It makes it weird for the people who are drawing the art. It just makes it weird in general. Like, just stop. For us, for me, for Kaya, for everyone. We're tired. And I don't care.
Well,
we're tired.
With that, we are going to move into our next segment, and we're back again with another tropes that we wish would die. And today we're talking about the dumb trope that is seen in TV and film, where the main character or one of the supporting main characters' lack of smarts is played up for laughs. So, Bre, how do you feel about this trope?
I love it. I used to hate it for a little bit, but like recently with like this double pandemic and this recession and stuff like that, like, you know what? Give me the dumb characters. Make me laugh. I will happily live vicariously through an idiot, because I wish that I was that idiot. Because imagine being stupid during this time. You could just be happily unaware.
Being out of touch during this time. Is that not half the politicians?
That's a read, but you know what? They deserve to read. You're right. You're right. But, are we going to act like we didn't enjoy Mean Girls? Like, are we going to act like Naruto wasn't a blatant idiot for a long time? He was dumb. He was stupid. But he eventually, he got himself together. But it's just, like, the trope is a little overplayed, and sometimes people don't write it correctly, and it is a little toxic for some blonde-haired women. I'm sorry.
Some people take offense to it. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Some people take offense.
And so, it's a fun way to develop a character, and probably one of the easiest ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sometimes, like, even in Glee, you know how Brittany was kind of like really stupid, but then she turned into like some mathematical genius. Like, it was kind of poorly done, but like cool, right? Like, it's fun. Like, even I know old girl wasn't supposed to be like, she wasn't stupid and Legally Blonde, but you know, it's
Her
called
friends
Legally
were.
Blonde. Yeah, she's surrounded by a bunch of idiots, but eventually, like, she got herself together and she became smart. Like, I think it's a really, like, even in Naruto, like I said, he was dumb as rocks, but like as an adult, he's kind of smart, kind of. I think it's time. I think Beyonce has the right idea. Okay, it's time for escapism. It's time for us to enjoy what we're watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need such serious material all the time. Like, did we ask for Elvis movie? We don't need to know that Elvis. We don't need to watch a movie where Elvis steals black people's music. We know that happened. Okay, give us laughs. We want to giggle, and that's just how I feel. Kaya, what do you think? Oh, and I don't think it needs to die. Do it more. We need more. Give it to me. Thank you.
I do think that it needs to die, or at the very least be used less and less. As I've said before, I don't really care for a show that overtly plays into a character's lack of smarts, and I don't. Like Kim Parker's from Moesha and the Parkers, she was never smart, but she wasn't just bimbo dumb either. And even on the first season of the Parkers, she wasn't that kind of dumb. But as the show went on, she just kept getting dumber and dumber. And it's just like, okay, we get it. She's not the smartest that this community college has to offer. We get it. Like, even with Dragon Ball Z, Goku. Everybody knows Goku is... I think he was dropped on his head as a baby. So I think that's the excuse that we use for his...
little touch.
For his touchness. And so sometimes that could be funny. Like, I mostly live in the Dragon Ball Z universe of the franchise, but like Dragon Ball Z Super, talking about, well, no, it was in Dragon Ball, Vegeta talking to Goku, Kakarot, stop playing, I want to know if you're going to enter into this tournament. Okay, but I'd really rather talk about hot dogs. Like, he likes to eat he eats a lot, he likes to fight, and like he cares.
Grizzly Warrior. I'm sorry, keep going.
And so that's fun. Or even in Super, where Bulma is about to have her baby and Vegeta doesn't want to go train, and so Goku is like, the baby comes out of her, doesn't it? And so Vegeta is like, I don't understand how you're still married. That's fun. That's funny. But even still, I think this is also in Super. The fact that Goku doesn't know what a kiss is. Like, I think he saw somebody share a sensu bean with one of their partners via mouth to mouth, or maybe he saw them kiss, and he was like, y'all do that? What is that? And it's just like, he has 2 kids with his wife. You telling me he's never... And each series in the franchise is not always consistent with the next or the last, but it just that doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, we get it, he's simple-minded, you don't have to make it overtly obvious that he's dumb. And it can be funny at first, sure, but to shove it in my face, it's no longer funny. And maybe I'm overthinking it. I know I'm overthinking it, but it sometimes makes me feel like I'm supposed to be laughing at a learning disorder that they didn't know they had or weren't publicly diagnosed with, right? Like, sometimes you do it so much that it's just like, I don't feel comfortable laughing at that because it's not that funny. And so, I don't know. Maybe the trope doesn't need to die, but like, it could be used less and less. It doesn't have to be shoved in my face. Use it less and don't overtly play into the character's lack of smarts, and then it may actually be funny. But that's just me.
I respect that, and I understand how it could get confusing where they could like be treading the line of learning disabilities and stuff like that. Like, I understand that. Like, I could see both sides of, the line. Maybe it does need to die a little bit, but give us a little bit more. Make more rom-coms. We want that. Anyways, let's get into our next segment, Swap.
I'm so
where we
excited.
give each other a piece of just a story that we both want to see each other's watch, and then we review it. And we kind of do it in a 2-part series. Last episode she reviewed Death Note. By the way, Kaya, I respect your review, but I think a lot of anime dudes would beat you up for it. Sorry.
Go cry about it.
And she gave me the 2013 fantasy series Sleepy Hollow, which is about a revolutionary war. war soldier.
Yeah. I had to think too.
Crane, who beheads a horseman who also fatally injures him. 250 some odd years later, Crane awakes in 2013 in Sleepy Hollow. Bear with me, y'all. I'm making it. Where he then meets Lieutenant Abigail, who in a duo then spends the next three seasons, fighting supernatural creatures to thwart the oncoming apocalypse. What do I think about the show? What do I think about the show?
What do you think about the show?
When I first started watching the show, I was a little annoyed and I couldn't get into it because I'm like, oh God, another supernatural buddy cop show like Lucifer. And I did enjoy Lucifer, but I was like, it got boring. I hate the repetitive episode thing, but like eventually, and it's still, I don't care what you say, Kaya, it's still a buddy cop show to me. Like it's not a coincidence that every single replacement you find for Abigail just so happens to either be in a police force or a FBI. That's not a coincidence. And then on top of that,
but
it's not a coincidence. It's not a coinkydink. Okay. And after, like, eventually it grew on me. Okay, I became obsessed with the show, mostly because like I was really excited to see like the character dynamic between Crane and Abigail. Like they're so different. Like, and also seeing someone taking like pulled straight out of the Revolutionary War and placed in 2015, that's interesting. I want to see that. And I thought it was funny to see his opinions on like the stuff we put up today, like taxing donuts. That was funny. Okay, he was like, "You guys do realize that we rioted over tea." I'm just like, yeah, we need to riot over donuts taxes, please. Okay, but okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my brain together.
Take your time. It's a mind-boggling show.
Yes, and I have a lot of notes. Okay, but I think what really irritated me throughout the show was them teasing Crane and Abigail being together, but they never really like showed it. And there were so many opportunities to be like, yeah, these two can get together, but they gave us everything except for Abigail and Crane. Okay, they almost gave us Katrina and Moloch before we got them. Okay, Katrina, are we gonna forget that Katrina gave birth? Was it to Moloch or was it Moloch?
She gave birth to Moloch, but she was gonna get with Abraham. She was gonna get with the headless horseman.
Everybody, she was getting down, okay? And we got Jenny and J before we got Abigail and Crane. I just don't understand why. And also another issue I have with it is the fact that they made it seem like one-sided, because like it seemed like Abigail didn't have any romantic feelings towards Crane
or any of the guys that were interested in her.
And that was weird to me. I'm like, why are y'all like making it seem like they tried too hard to make her like the strong black woman, you know? That's what I saw with her character, and it wasn't fun to watch after a while. Like I was waiting for her to soften up, and it never really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Even with her mother, it never happened. I'm like, whoever wrote Abigail needs jail time, because it's not cute. They didn't do a good job. I hate to say it, but they didn't do a good job of writing Abigail. It was very flat line, one trick pony. That's what I saw with Abby. Okay, and there's a lot of inconsistency with the writing too. Like it was very inconsistent between seasons. Like towards the end of like season 2, they gave us like a different villain with Katrina and Henry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who asked for that? We are here to see the oncoming apocalypse via the four horsemen. They completely disregarded that. I'm just like, so what's the point of having 2 witnesses? Like, this is supposed to, they bring in Pandora, which is Greek mythology. I'm just like, I thought we was doing Christian. What's happening? I'm just like, who asked for Pandora and her husband? What? Like, it just got really weird, and it started not making any sense. And then they put Abby in this weird place.
Catacombs
for 10 months, and we didn't see Abby, and I'm just like, this is not fun to watch.
And can we talk about, I'm sorry, I really don't, because I'm gonna get to my thoughts in a minute, but can we talk about how in that episode Crane was like, when he was talking about Abby, he was like, what it means to have a true partner, truly your other half, your better half. Like, bro,
makes me mad. They messed up. Then they had the audacity to, oh, I'm so sorry, spoiler
Spoiler.
alert, Abby dies. They kill Abby. Okay, and this is, they Veronica Roth Abigail. That's what they did.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
They Veronica Roth Abigail. You kidding me? Telling me her mission was done when they both had to go through 7 trials? That don't make no sense. Okay, that made me angry. I was infuriated. As soon as I saw that, I think I texted you, Kaya.
You did.
Or I called you, like, what is happening? Where is Abby in season 4?
You were like, what is up with that finale? I was like, oh my gosh, she done made it there.
I'm like, is she coming back? And then, like, I watched like 2 episodes. I'm like, oh, Abby's gone. I'm just like, I'm not with it. I turned it off. Click. Nope. I didn't watch season 4. I don't care what you got to say. I didn't watch season 4. But overall, it's an okay show. It could have been better if there was more consistent writing, you know, better character development. Kai, I also have a question for you. I'm concerned, you know, almost everything you recommended to me has been kind of being like an interracial relationship.
Okay, don't throw me out there like that. I watch shows, I read books, like real stuff, because people will sit here and be like, I'm colorist and now, so now I gotta defend myself.
I'm playing!
No, because now I gotta defend myself. I go to media for the, like, sure, the cover will pull me in, but I go to media for the description. And so if that description just happens to be that, then so be it. And I'll be honest with you, in that show, as it was airing, as I was watching it, I didn't see them as romantic. But then after everything happened in season 3, and I was watching a crap ton of videos on YouTube about it, because you best believe somebody else had to have my exact feelings about it. And I was like, oh, people were shipping them? And then I went back and watched, and I was like, oh, they were supposed to be a thing. They were supposed to be in game.
But I'm not gonna lie, they were cute together, and that's it, and that kind of is what made them cute. Like, I'm not gonna lie, him being like, you know, Revolutionary War soldier, and her, like, it made it cute. And I'm just teasing you, Kaya. Sometimes we can't help how people cast the characters, or, you know what I'm saying, we can't help it. And the story's good, but sometimes, you know, they kind of make it a little weird by forcing stuff. But anyways, yeah, it was still okay. I'll probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
So in your notes, it's so funny that you thought that I would be like upset by your notes. When we were talking yesterday, you were like, you're gonna be upset by me. But every real Sleepy Hollow fan shares your exact feelings, myself included. Now, I do disagree with the buddy and cop thing. I think the fact that all the black characters are in positions of power, specifically law enforcement positions of power, goes to show their authority. Like, and that they're the highest of their respected fields. Like when Crane gets kidnapped in season 1 by the Masons, and Abby and Jenny go down to get him, and she's like, I'm a cop, you're gonna let me in, you're gonna let me see Crane, or I'm gonna bring my entire force down here. Or when she's squaring off with the foster mom in season 1, and she's like, tell me what I want to know, or I will rain legal brimstone down on you. You see that she means it, that she can do it, and she has the authority to back it up. So I think
I hate to cut you off, but it just feels like a whole lot of military cop propaganda that I can't buy it. I can't buy it.
We're getting a little off topic, but like, I think you could say that maybe about SVU or any of the Law and Orders. I think you could maybe say that about Criminal Minds. I think you can maybe say that about Lucifer. But for the most part, these kind of cop shows, Supernatural, Sleepy Hollow, all these, or X-Files, all these shows where they're battling monsters and the apocalypse, and they just happen to be cops, I think are less about being buddy and cop shows and more about they have the authority to do this, and it just helps with the plot line. Like, they can do this, they can solve these murders, and it's easier for them to do it because they have a badge. That's how I think.
I mean, I see how you feel, but like, I just couldn't shake that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't shake the, like, do they want to be a police officer? Like, that's, you know, are they trying to get me? They're recruiting me. That's what it felt like. But maybe I'm just, you know, not all the way up there. Anyways, continue.
Okay, now there were people in this fandom who legit saw Abby and Crane only as friends. I, as it was airing, saw that too, but after going back, I don't see how I saw that, and I don't see how people, there is no such thing as friendship flirting with me. Like, if you flirting with me, you flirting with me. Like, I don't know if you remember it, but in season 2, that Heartless episode, which they could have done a lot with that episode because it's supposed to be.
I was expecting it. I was waiting for it.
Because it was supposed to be like the monster pulls out your desire, and if you're telling me Crane desires Abby, we should have seen that. But
they hinted it.
When you're like that episode when they're joking and she's like, Crane, you like to dance, and he looks at her and he's like, wouldn't you like to see? I'm sorry, that's no.
And when they moved in together, I'm just like, oh, I'm eating. That's right.
But there were even people in this fandom who shipped Crane and Katrina, despite Katrina being a glorified damsel in distress, to the point that her own actress, the actress who played Katrina, came out and was like, yeah, she sucks. I just think like
she was a boring character. She could have been way cooler, but they made her like crazy.
And I do think vilifying her and Henry kind of was predictable, and it does play into the crazy witch trope. But I also think that was the most interesting she's been since they brought her in. We could have done great things with that.
Honestly, like they could have kept her as someone stuck in purgatory. Should have been more interesting.
Honestly. And don't feel bad about like kind of gazing over season 2, because a lot of people either like gazed over it or like raged and quit. And the reason that it feels so inconsistent is because there were different writers each season. Season 3 was a reboot of the show, so there were different writers for that. Season 4, even though we don't really acknowledge season 4, it had new writers. Season 2 had new writers from season 1, like they weren't the same writers, so that's why it feels inconsistent.
Wet.
I do agree that Abby's character is that strong black woman trope that needs to die, because like for any of her characters, not even just Crane, like we do see that she cares about Crane, but we also don't see that romantic level, and it's really frustrating. Or for any of her romantic people, we don't see her relationship with Luke, who was the cop in season 1. We don't see anything with Andy, even though Andy, it was one-sided with him. We don't see anything for Danny from season 3. Like, you brought these people in to be a love interest to Abby and not be a love interest to Abby.
Exactly. She deserves love too. That's what I was confused. She deserves some love.
And we could have had it in season 3. We could have had it could be in season 3. Katrina was gone and everything, but no. They had to bring in Betsy Ross and Zoe and all these other women for Crane, but they don't even build up a strong relationship between them either. Again, season 3 was a reboot, so they brought in a new baddie. They really could have started that back at season 1 level with It's About the Four Horsemen. Like, that's really what they could have done. Pandora, I guess, was an interesting villain, but she would have been far more interesting on her own, as opposed to trying to get her husband, who talked a big game.
That's what I didn't like.
He talked a big game, but he didn't do much. And then season 3, if you're being honest, not much really happened in season 3. Like, they threw her in a tree at the mid-season finale, and then they threw her in a box in the season finale. Nothing happened. And no, we don't talk about season 4. Season 4, what's season 4? There is no season 4.
We're not talking about it. Sorry.
And so like even at the season finale of season 3, they really played us, because there's Betsy Ross saying, Crane, your heart belongs to Abby. There's Pandora saying that, oh, you love her, don't you? She's your world and your hope and your everything. And then that weird montage of a goodbye, where he kisses her where he kisses her on the.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Even then, Abby is extremely like dead. Like, she doesn't.
My journey is done.
It's like she doesn't know that she loves him back. Even though he's clearly showing that he loves her, like, sure, it could be unrequited, but I'm just like,
one, he kissed her hand and then put her hand to his cheek. He should have kissed her mouth on mouth. She needs you to know. 1, 2, this whole I finished my journey. You crap all over your own mythology, because the basis of this show is that it's specifically these 2 people. You brought Crane in from the past. Yes. These 2 people have to fight the apocalypse, and now Abby has finished her journey. 3, my job was to carry. Her job as a black woman was to carry a white man. Girl, yes, I do. Like I said, any real Sleepy Hollow fan agrees with you. This show was a victim of poor writing and behind the scenes poor treatment of their POC, Black and POC characters.
And microaggressions.
We could have had 7 seasons, 7 years of trials and tribulations, but no, they had to mess it up because of writing and because of like unfair treatment. But this show has a place in my heart, and I'm so glad that you like it, even if you do give it a 6 out of 10. You know, it started off good. It really did.
You gave Death Note a low rating, so I'm going to return the favor.
Okay,
Sorry.
I had reason, and I gave reason.
I have a reason too. They should have wrote it better. Bad writing, bad rating. Anyways, and with that, let's move on to our last segment of the day, which is What's in the Headlines, where we cover celebrity news and gossip. And so today we're going to be talking about Kanye West's response to Pete Davidson and Kim K's breakup, the Breakfast Club ending, kinda, and Trump being raided by the FBI. Kaya, what you think about Kanye and Kim K situation?
So after Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian broke up, Kanye West put out a photo that says Skeet Davidson is dead. It's like a newspaper clip. It's not a real clip. It's something that he made, and it says Skeet Davidson is dead. My thoughts are as follows, and I'm certainly going to make some people upset with this, but I need y'all to stop enabling this man under the guise of he's mentally ill, or I don't care, it was funny so I'ma laugh, or he's a genius and you just don't see the genius in it. Like, yes, he is a musical genius. Yes, he is mentally ill. That's why he needs help and not people laughing at his antics, because it's not funny. It was never funny. Because Pete Davidson and Kanye West, they did have somewhat of a back and forth, and it was never funny. Like, neither one of them was funny. And the moment y'all make me defend Kim K. But let's be real, West harassed her the entire time she was with Davidson. And you can say, well, he moved down the street to be near his kids, but like, one, let's not act like this doesn't have like a negative impact on a kid's mentality. And two, what the Kardashians say is that he was never being kept from them anyway. We don't know, but it's still a little weird. It's weird. I truly believe people shouldn't play with words like this, because I am a firm believer that words have meaning and power. And you'll see people play with this kind of stuff like James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is doing completely fine, yada yada. Stop playing with words like that. It's not funny. You're not being edgy. You're like, words have power. They have meaning. They have power. Stop playing with words like that. That's just how I feel. But what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm not shocked by Kanye's response. Like, we all are used to Kanye acting like a fool in public, saying crazy stuff. Like, we're used to it. I'm used to it, at least. And we all know that he's not afraid to give his honest opinion. That's just who he is. However, I do think he's taken too far. Like, it feels like people are like saying, oh, he's mentally ill, yada, 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 yada. But, like, mentally ill people can still be horrible people.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. That's just it. Like, you can't just sit up and not take your medicine, not do this, not do that, and be like, oh yeah, I did this because I'm mentally ill. Sorry. Like, no, it's not how it works. Okay, as someone who struggles with some similar things, I can take responsibility for you not taking care of yourself or you doing bad things. Like, there has to be some accountability at some point. Like, stop coming up with excuses for this man who is doing weird stuff. Like, you can't sit up and spread information like someone's dying. Yes, it is spreading misinformation because some idiots don't actually read the news and they will listen to whatever celebrity says. People probably actually thought that Pete Davidson was dead for a break or a couple seconds. You never know. Like, you just don't know. You can't do things like that. And Kanye West does it because who's going to stop him besides him being banned from Twitter or being banned? No one's going to stop him. He needs to get it together.
And with that, let's move into former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home being raided by the FBI on August 8th, 2022. Although we have little knowledge as to why the exact reason he was raided, sources say that the search has something to do with Trump allegedly taking classified information from the White House after he left office. This, of course, has some Trump loyalists in a frenzy. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted a picture of an inverted American flag on her socials. Candace Owens ironically posted defund the police in all caps, as well as a few others tweeting this too. Another one tweeted something along the lines of, if they can do this to Trump or to a former president, imagine what they can do to you. It has them going crazy. So Bre, what are your thoughts on it?
First of all, can we please, and I mean please, just talk about the idiots who are still calling Donald Trump president. Like, that's been what's really been getting me this entire time, like, with seeing it on the news. Like, these people are like, how dare they rate the president? How dare they rate the president? They're not saying former. They're saying president. I'm just like...
And it's really aggravating because they'll say former President Obama. They will say that.
Yeah, but they won't say it to Trump. Trump is not the president. I'm sorry, y'all, but he's just not in office. And even if he is the president is still subject to raids, is he not? If he commits a crime, is he not still subject to the law? Can he still not commit? Like, are y'all stupid? Like, I hate to be like this, but like, y'all are being dumb. I'm sorry. Y'all are being they're so stupid. And like, every day I am presented with actual proof that the education system, American education system, fails us every single day. Because people don't understand how this stuff works. People they don't listen. These people with their high school diplomas, throw them in the trash, put them in the burn them, do whatever. Because they don't deserve it. They're stupid. They didn't listen, and they still aren't listening. Donald Trump has a cult. He has a cult, and I hate to say that, but he has a cult. These people are not normal. Has anybody ever seen a bunch of Barack Obama loyalists? Huh? President Bush, Clinton, Abraham Lincoln? Huh? Where y'all at? Stop out, because I don't see y'all. This is not normal. This is so weird, and he got raided because he did something illegal. Most likely did something illegal, and he deserved to get raided, just like anybody else who gets raided deserves to be raided sometimes. I'm tired of Trump and his followers and his shenanigans. Please take this man's platform away. I beg. All right, what do you think about it, Kaya?
It's really funny to me. I mean, it's not funny, but it's really hilarious to me. If they can do this to a former president, imagine what they could do to you. Huh. Almost like no one is above the law. Who'd have thought? Like, I will say this though, the hypocrisy it drives me up the wall. Like, Obama could never have gotten away with half the stuff Trump has done. Neither could Hillary Clinton, neither can Biden. Like, no way could they have gotten away with planning a coup on the most powerful country in the world. No way could they have taken things from the White House or thrown a tantrum to the point that it almost overthrew the U.S. democracy as we know it. But because this man is letting y'all be y'all true selves, everything goes out the window with him. And remember those butthurt emails and lock her up of 2016? Well, the tables have turned. That's all I'm gonna say. I can most certainly say more, but the tables have now turned, Mr. I'm gonna plead the fifth. But let's move it right along. Just go ahead.
Well, speaking of moving on, let's talk about how the Breakfast Club is ending. It's not actually ending, but the co-host Angela Yee. I always, because it ends in a la, and then it's just confusing me. But she's getting her own radio show, which congratulations. But Kaya, what do you think about this?
You put in your notes that is basically the radio version of the Shade Room, and just
it is
not the radio version of the Shade Room. Now, I don't not listen to shows like these, but I will admit that I'm not an avid listener of The Breakfast Club. Not for any specific reason. I guess I was just out of the loop. Going off your response, which you'll give in a minute, I'm all for having our own space, but if that space is used just to be ignorant for the sake of ignorance, or it makes their guests feel uncomfortable under the guise of we're asking the tough questions, but you're really just being invasive and toxic, then I don't know how good you're doing. I think if you're going to be like that, then that's harmful to the Black community, not helpful. But overall, I guess I'm indifferent. Best of luck to all of them, I guess. But what are your thoughts?
Can we just talk about how the way Angela announced it? Like, she announced, it was mad shady. She was the reason why people thought the breakfast show in general was ending. She said, the breakfast show is ending. Literally, that's what she said. So, and then imagine Charlamagne's reaction when people were rejoicing on Twitter, just like, yeah, whoa, Shade Room's next, yes, yes, yes. I'm like, I would have been so butthurt. I'm sorry, but I was shocked when I first heard about it because The Breakfast Club felt like a show that would like run forever, kind of like a late night show. Even if they do like replace people, it's just we need shows like that despite its toxicity. We need shows where we get to learn about new people, and I also don't think that people are going to miss Angela Yee. She didn't really add much to the show. Like I know you don't watch it that much, but like she would just ask questions that were like, what? Like really stupid questions. Like, why are you asking this question, Angela? Like she didn't really. And Charlamagne fed on top of it too, because he would ask outrageous questions. They would just both ask extremely invasive questions that were kind of just like, side eye. It make you side eye her a lot. She didn't seem like she was for women. She didn't really stand up for women because Charlamagne would really disrespect black women often, and Angela Yee as a black woman didn't really do much to like stop it. So I think that's also another reason why people were like, oh, if Angela's leaving, then the show's over. Like, I think people were just happy to see her go. Nobody really was like missing Angela's commentary at all. That's another reason people were rejoicing. They just wanted to see Angela off of their screens, off the radio. They just didn't want Angela.
So is it sexist, or like does that factor into it? As to doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But like Angela kind of sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She just kind of sucks. They're toxic. And while the Breakfast Club has done a lot for like black entertainers, like I didn't know much about Saucy Santana or T.S. Madison until I saw them be interviewed there. Like they have contributed a lot to the black community, but like they're a lot like the Shade Room. Like, they start bad conversations. You know how last time I was talking about how the Shade Room, like every time the Shade Room posts, black people are taking back 500 years. It's the same thing for the Breakfast Club. It's just a lot of toxicity, and I love watching this show, but I just feel like we can do better, and I commend them for giving black people a platform, but I can't say that I would be sad if it didn't, because it's not black version of Shade Room. Shade Room is black. It's just the radio version of the Shade Room. Sorry, it's toxic.
Well, with that's what's in the headlines, and that's our show. Thanks for listening and watching. If you like our content, please be sure to like our content. Leave a comment. Most importantly, share with all of your friends and family. That helps us a lot. Again, definitely feel free to leave a comment. That also helps us a lot. Be respectful in the comments. We'll be respectful as long as you be respectful, but definitely let us know any of your opinions or thoughts about any of our segments or anything that you'd like to see more of. That also helps us. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Peace.